Materializing in the last 15 minutes here with some conversations with some friends that I have on the Illinois side of the river. There's a special guest that is in Southern Illinois today, and they said, would you like to have him on the show? And I said, how in the world could I possibly pass up the opportunity to speak with Congressman Matt Gaetz? And Matt Gaetz joins the Annie Frey Show here. Congressman, a real honor to have you on the show here. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Oh, thanks for having me. And I'm in Southern Illinois campaigning for Darren Bailey for Congress. He's a Republican challenging Mike Bost. I think that Mike Bost has been too adherent to some of the establishment features of Washington, D.C., particularly a Ukraine-first attitude of backing all of the billions of dollars in spending there that have come really at the expense of American taxpayers. So I'm inspired by the candidacy of Darren Bailey. He and I are going to have a rally tonight in Herrin, Illinois, at the Herrin Civic Center. And folks can go to baileyforillinois.com to get tickets or just show up around 5 o'clock.
So it's baileyforillinois.com, and I guess you guys still have some room, or there's probably a decent amount of capacity that is available there. You're going to be speaking there, I assume. What do people get when they come to this event this evening?
Look, I'm going to lay out my vision to change Congress. I don't believe that this country will survive if we continue to approve budgets with one vote up or down on everything without itemized review. I don't believe our nation will survive if we're not willing to fight to secure the border and use the leverage that we have. If we continue to go trillions more in debt, we're going to be adding $2.5 trillion to the debt every year for the next 10 years, maybe even more. And I want to reverse course on that. We can't do it with the team we currently have in Congress. We just can't. We got too many of them who vote for more spending, unpaid for foreign aid, continuing resolutions that keep everything going the way they've been going. And I need backup. I need fighters. So I'm traveling around the country. I think Darren Bailey is a real fighter. I think he'll stand with me as we try to change Washington and reverse this decline that so many Americans are observing.
We're speaking with Congressman Matt Gaetz, who is in town on the Illinois side of the river here to support Darren Bailey, baileyforillinois.com, to learn more about the event that you can go to tonight to see Congressman Matt Gaetz. You talked about wanting to remake Congress to, I want to ask you about the cohesiveness of the Republicans that are serving right now. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring to the attention that the country has been paying attention about your central role in really being kind of a rabble-rouser there in the House of Representatives, being a large part of the reason Speaker McCarthy isn't the speaker anymore. You said you have a vision for the future. What does that vision look like for the Republican Party, a majority in the House of Representatives?
First, it means using leverage, not funding Joe Biden's government if we do not secure the border. The government funding fight is where we have the most leverage, and the American people want to see the border secure. So I wouldn't tie our border to Ukraine's border or Israel's border. I would say our border has to be secure if Joe Biden wants his Department of Education, Department of Labor, all these entities of government funded. Second, my vision for our budgeting process means that, we actually have one. We actually pass a budget. Our budget chairman, Jody Arrington of Texas, has done a terrific job crafting a budget that balances. And we go after a lot of the fraud and waste and duplication in the Medicaid program to realize those savings. We give more power to the states. I want to see that effectuated and brought to the floor. And then I want these agencies to be subject to itemized review of their spending. And there's an easy way to do that, the way all of our state legislatures do, by putting up single subject spending bills and then having them available to amendments that could reduce spending. And we'll win some and we'll lose some in those fights. But I fundamentally believe that using leverage and then having an honest and fair budget process that mirrors our states could get the Congress way back on track, regardless of which party is in power.
We're speaking with Congressman Matt Gaetz in Southern Illinois to support Darren Bailey's run for Congress. I look at the ousting of Speaker McCarthy, but then also the Republican ousting of George Santos. How are those two things similar or different in your eyes?
Well, I think in Santos's case, it was a self-inflicted wound. These Republicans in New York thought that if they got rid of Santos, they could replace him with a Republican they preferred, and that was botched terribly, and they got a Democrat that they do not prefer. Meanwhile, I think I have a speaker that I prefer to Kevin McCarthy. Mike Johnson won't be the answer to all of our prayers, and I don't think he's purported that he will be. But I do think that we don't have a budget process now with $50 billion in side deals that the American people didn't know about, that the Speaker of the House made with the Biden administration. I also don't think that we're just going to be, tripping over ourselves to give another $60 billion to Ukraine. That was a really important stand that Speaker Johnson took. Moreover, Kevin McCarthy wanted to send funding to Israel without any pay for, and the only Israel aid that we've passed out of the House has been with a subsequent reduction in the IRS so that we're able to achieve some of our additional goals through not driving into debt. So I think those are some specific areas where in one case, in the Santos case, we had a downgrade because of something I opposed. And in the other case, we had a nominal upgrade in something that I had a role in.
Yeah, I think looking back as we covered the whole speaker saga, that I for one was happy to see that the representation of the American people on display. I think when things don't go super smooth in Washington, D.C., there's an easy criticism for that, but it's not really designed to go super smooth. And the more voices that are heard and represented, probably the messier it seems on the national stage. What is the cohesive Republican message going into November to make sure that we beat Joe Biden in the White House, that we take the Senate so that we don't have disgusting bills like funding Ukraine before we fund our southern border coming out of the Senate, and have a workable majority in the House where we can actually get things done? What's the message to beat Democrats?
I think our message in the upcoming election is going to be around three pillars: border, crime, and the economy. On those areas, Republicans are trusted substantially more than Democrats, and they are the issues that are rising in people's minds as principal voting issues. If you don't feel safe and you blame a particular politician or political party for that degradation in your safety, whether that's your economic safety, your physical safety, that comes front of mind pretty quickly, and we think that'll be really motivating to voters. We think Joe Biden is going to run on democracy promotion, which is a little bit odd while they're trying to kick Donald Trump off the ballot, them and some of their allies, right? There seems to be a little tension in the message that they want to remove the leading candidate for president from the ballot, but yet they're running on this democracy platform. I think in terms of our cohesion, look, not every district is the same, but the real problem I have is it's corrupt up there, and both parties participate in it. I'm the only Republican in the Congress who doesn't take any lobbyist money or any political action committee money. I just fund my campaign through the people, and then the strings aren't attached. And I see how that affects people like Congressman Bost and so many. And it's not even a partisan critique. So I want people to have my back, to come to Congress, to be patriots like Darren Bailey. That'll be the message we're sharing tonight here in Civic Center at 5 p.m.
And one more time, the website where people can go to learn more information on this event.
Bailey for Illinois, Bailey for Illinois.com. You can get a ticket, and we'd love to see you there and share this vision for how to move the country forward and really how to respond in this moment. A lot of people feel under siege right now. They feel like with this border open, with prices continuing to rise, that some broad vision for the future seems so distant, that we have issues we have to confront immediately, and people want to know who will fight for them.
Well, I appreciate your time today, Congressman Gaetz. I hope you enjoy your stay. I don't know, is it snowing down where you guys are right now in Heron?
Not yet. You got a little, you get that early kind of pre-sleet look forming in the sky, so I know it's coming.
Are you Florida born and raised? Do you get to spend much? I guess in D.C. you get plenty of that.
Yeah, we get weather that looks like this in the Mid-Atlantic, but no, as a Florida man, I'm always uncomfortable if I cannot wear flip-flops and sandals.
You can still wear them. I mean, you can still do it if you can handle it. We appreciate you. Welcome to the Midwest. We do have a Midwest nice thing here, but we do have a lot of issues to fix. And I'm an Illinois resident myself, and I am disgusted with the way my state represents itself on a national stage in many cases. So the attention to the Midwest, often overlooked. We appreciate your attention and time this afternoon.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'll try to have a little of that Midwest nice rub off on me while I'm here.
Take that back to Washington, D.C., would you? And then there's a little bless your heart that goes along with it, which comes from the South.
Yeah, a little Southern corollary.
Exactly. Thank you, Congressman Gaetz. Good to have you.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.